In this video, we will discuss in detail definition of important design parameters in CSIE tabs as design codes, multi-response case, number of interaction curves, number of interaction points. Consider minimum eccentricity, consider additional moment, consider P delta done, gamma steel and gamma concrete, pattern live load factor, utilization factor limit.
Watch this video till end. Don't forget to subscribe and share.
See, analysis has been done. What to do after the analysis, you all know very well. After all of that checks, you have to go for the design stage. So here the option is given, go to design. And now in design, you will find many options. Very first is the steel frame design. So if you are going to design any steel member, or if you are going to design any steel structure, okay, or any composite structure, in that case you have to proceed for the steel element design. You have to proceed with the first option. For the steel frame design, means for the beam column, it is the steel frame. Second is the concrete frame design, means your beam column design as a modeled as a concrete or considered as a concrete element. There is a composite beam, the beam which is consisting of both material as steel and concrete, that is called as composite beam, composite column, steel joist design. Okay, these all are the part of the steel structure and what I can say, composite structures. If suppose you want to design the shear wall, you have to go with this option of shear wall design. Okay, then concrete slab design, if suppose you would like to design the concrete slab, you have to go with this option, and it is the live load reduction factor. Okay, then rest of all these options are respect to the non-linear analysis. So as we are going to perform in this particular project linear static analysis, so it is not need to talk about these methods. We are having the concern with only concrete frame design as of now. With this option, when you are taking your cursor over this, further multiple option you will be able to find here. And as I earlier told you, when you are going to work with any of action, when you are going to perform any action like modeling, analysis, design, scheduling, detailing, so before of that you have to do many settings. Before of modeling, lot of setting and definition you have to create. Before of analysis, lot of settings and definition you have to set. Likewise, before of design also you have to set a lot of settings and definitions. Then only you can go for the design of the beam and column, that is what, frame element. Don't be confused when you are going to proceed with concrete frame design. Don't be confused, your entire model is going to be designed, entire structure is going to be designed. Frame means your beam and column only, not the slab, not the shear wall, not any other element, only the frame element, beam and column. Clear? Okay, now go to design. For the shear wall, there is another section, we'll talk on that later. Okay, so concrete frame design, view revise preferences. You have to click over this option, view revise preferences. Once you click over that, now this is the most important part for the discussion. Try to understand. Actually, design codes, what code you would like to prefer for the designing of your proposed structure. So in the beginning of the project, the software is asking or with which code you want to design this structure. But if you forget to set at that time, or if you are by mistake you have taken another code, so no problem, at this stage you have an option to correct it. So you can choose your required design code from here simply. And second option is what, multi-response case design. It is the what, there are different options has given, envelopes, step by step, last step, envelopes, all, step by step, all. So it is nothing but that what the approach for the design of your structure or mainly your frame elements, the design approach for your frame elements design approach. So, and it is more effective and more important to talk on this when you are going to perform the multi-response, when you are going to perform on the multi-response methods of analysis or iteration based method of analysis. Again, try to understand, multi-stepped based analysis or iteration based analysis. And what are those? That is nothing but the non-linear analysis or time history method of analysis. As you can read the definition of all different methods here. So it is actually comes into important concern when you are going to perform the iterative based design or iterative based and yeah, especially for the design. So as of now we don't need to focus on this. We just have to take the option of by default a step by step approach for the design. If you are choosing the envelope one, envelope means what? When the time history method of analysis is going to be performed, so it is iterative based, multiple values are going to be generated and it is going to create the envelope of all that and finding the critical one, then going to design for that one. So that is the envelope one. Last step one is what? It is going to perform multiple steps, multiple iterations and going for the last step. That is the second. And this is what? Step by step, envelope all. So this is all are the different methods of approach for the design, and it comes into play importantly when you are going to perform the multi-stepped or iterative based analysis. Okay, so as of now we don't need to focus on this. Let it to be by default 1. Clear? Now next, number of interaction curves, number of interaction points. This is the very important point to understand, like for the designing of the elements, and it is mainly for your these two options, mainly for your column, not for the beam. See, we are talking about the frame, your beam and column. Beam and column, it is mainly these two options for your column. Number of interaction curves, number of interaction points to be considered for the column design. So the ETABS software by default taken as 24 and 11, we have to keep as it is, but you have to understand what does it mean. You might have heard about the interaction curves. You might have heard about the what? Interaction curves. How many of you have heard about these interaction curves? Okay, you don't have heard about these interaction curves. Okay, let's try to understand what does mean by the interaction curve. But before of that, we have to discuss some other thing, the types of the columns based on the action of loading in respect of the CG of your column, centroidal axis of your column. So that's very simple. We earlier also have discussed this point. So now there are three types of the column. Very first is your actually loaded column. Very first is what? Your actually loaded column. Suppose you are going to consider, those who are not knowing, for them try to understand. Suppose this is my column and this is the major axis, this is your minor axis. Okay, now at the center point exactly the load is actually going to act. For an example, at this center of the point exactly, suppose the load is going to act, so we are going to call it as purely actually loaded column. When you are going to see the another column which is having the section size whatever and is having the axis as major axis and minor axis, and instead of acting the actual load exactly at the center or CG point of your column, it is actually going to act at a distance of EY. At a distance of what? EY, because it is a Y axis. This is the Y axis I am going to consider. This I am going to say XX. So about y it is at a distance of EY. It is at a distance of what? EY. So PU, ultimate load, multiplied by my. So actually what? The actual load is going to act at this point, but about the CG, about the center, the moment is going to be generated. The moment is going to be generated, that will be your what? My, moment Y, about Y axis, that will equal to your axial force PU multiplied by your eccentricity about the Y axis EY. So it is the moment about Y axis. So it is the axial force only acting at the center. It is at a distance of EY from the Y axis. Okay, minor axis. Now the third case, in that situation, what is the possibility? Try to understand. This is my CG point, and the axial load is not going to act on this point. It is not going to act on X axis. It is not going to act on Y axis. See, it is the first case. Okay, sorry, undo this step. Try to understand. This is the first case. Second case, your axial force is not acting at the center, but your axial force is acting on this point. In this case, what is happening? Axial load on your column is coming, but the eccentricity is what generated about the X axis. So I am going to call it as EX. So it is going to become movement about X axis. Now third case, when your column is there like this, and what? Your action of loading or axial load is not going to act either on x-axis or on y-axis. It is actually going to act somewhere here. Suppose the point load is actually acting at this point, this point. Now here what is needed to do? This is our ey, this is about ex. So in this case there will be your axial force will be there, and there will be the what movement about x-axis, there will be what movement about y-axis. So it is a purely axially loaded column, it is the uni-axially loaded column. There is a movement or eccentricity of the load about the minor axis, and here it is also the uni-axially loaded column where the movement is about what, your x-axis. Your axial load is what, at a distance of ex from the x direction. Now there is a what movement about the y-axis, that is the y. So and x both. So eccentricity about the both direction is there. Here the eccentricity about the x direction is there. Okay, so it is a biaxially loaded column. It is called as what, biaxially loaded column. But my dear friend, you tell me, what is the nature of your column in respect of resisting the stress? It is a compression member, it is a flexural member, or it is a tensile member? What it is? Very good. It is what, the compression member. Okay, so the best and good and required, and I can say ideal recommendation, the column to be what, the column to be of first case, the column to be a first case as purely axially loaded. This is our expected, or I can say the ideal condition. Why I am calling it to ideal and ideal condition, you will come to know later. Okay, so it is what, the ideal condition if your column is going to be subjected to the purely axially loaded at its center. Means it is what, purely axially loaded at the center. It is what, the best situation and best condition for your structure if you have succeeded to make it possible, so that your column design in respect of its column section size will be very much smaller, very much economical. Section size demand will be what, smaller. Plus your reinforcement demand will also very much smaller. So reinforcement will also be smaller and the concrete size will be small. Then obviously your design will be what, very much economical. But my dear friend, getting off purely axial loaded column in reality, that is very difficult. Why it is? Try to understand. It is a very unexpected thing when you get the structure like of this type, where all the spans are of equal size, equal spans. Then beams on all the direction will have the equal size. Then materials were used as equal grade and everything. Okay, that is possible. Normally we are taking, no issue. Column sizes are same. Everything is what, uniform and same. Then we can expect that the load which is coming at the column center will be, load is coming exactly at the center of the column. At that time it will be possible or not? Yes or no? Okay, so this is what possible when all the situations are ideal. And ideal what means, this span is same, this span is same, plus loading is also same. The loading on all the spans are all same. If any one load is suppose going to change, then we cannot expect the load is going to exactly coming at this point. Okay, so actually what, okay, to some extent, for instance, we are going to consider that the column is going to be purely axially loaded, but to a what extent? To the drawing extent, in the concern of the drawing. Now when you are going to create your model with a lot of precisions, you are going to create your model and load application and everything and analysis, then also we are getting the exact the load at the center point. Okay, that also I am going to accept. At the time of the drawing, you are ensuring everything as same, uniform, everything is okay. You are going to create the model analysis. At that time also I am expecting that okay, you are getting the load exactly at the center point. But will you take the responsibility of the site that everything is going to be executed as per the demand, as per the requirement exactly, that the span of the beam will be 100% of 5 meter on site by the labor, with 100% is going to be 5. Will the materials, concrete is going to be properly mixed and have poured in your beam, in your slab perfectly? There's no minor changes on site while the casting of the concrete, while the alignment of the column exactly at the right point, right alignment, all the columns. Will you take the responsibility, and is it possible? Please tell me, is it possible practically? Tell me, is it practically possible or not? It is exactly not possible. That's why, my dear friend, I am calling it to an ideal condition, that you are getting your column exactly with a concentrated load. With a concentrated load, it is the ideal condition. Yeah, okay, actually this kind of project you will not get is a very this kind of where the exactly everything is very similar, uniform, or symmetric. But okay, by any chance you are getting the project, or you are getting the situation, but you can ensure it at the drawing time, you can ensure it at the time of the analysis, modeling, design and everything, scheduling, detailing, okay, but you cannot take the surety of the site execution. Definitely there will be what loss of the precisions, and you are missing the points that we are expecting. So it is not possible to get in reality all the columns being completely, or any of the column being completely concentric loaded, purely and purely actually loaded. And this is, I'm not calling, I'm not defining, this is actually where considered by your IS code also. And IS code is actually recommending, if you are going to design any column, although you are getting it is what purely actually loaded, although if it is not actually loaded, it is eccentric one, uniaxial, biaxial, okay fine, but if you are getting any column, still you have to consider the eccentricity, still you have to consider what eccentricity, and that is given in your IS code, IS 456-2000. Okay, yeah, here at page number 42, what the code is saying, all columns shall be designed for a minimum eccentricity. All columns, it is not talking about the uniaxial, biaxial or anything, or any other situation, nothing. It is simply saying that the element as column, all columns shall be designed for minimum eccentricity. When there is no any eccentricity, even at that time you have to consider as minimum eccentricity as equal to unsupported length of your column divided by 500 plus lateral dimension, that may be width and depth, divided by 30, subjected to a minimum of 20 mm. After doing this calculation, if you are getting the eccentricity as what, suppose 15, in that you have to consider at least 20 mm eccentricity about x-axis or about y-axis. That is the another point of discussion. I will talk to you how to consider, but as of now you have to consider the eccentricity. That is what the important thing to understand. So you are not free, you are not allotted to design any column as purely actually loaded. Every column you have to design either by either uniaxial or biaxial, so there will be no any consideration of purely actually loaded column. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Here what one option has given, consider minimum eccentricity. So tell me, this option should be yes or no? Tell me fast. It should be yes. Okay, this should be what? Yes. But we were started our discussion with a point to understand the movement chart, or we can say we are movement chart also you can call it too, or interaction curve. So what does mean by this interaction curve? Try to understand. See, if any column is there, if any column is there, okay, and when it is going to be subjected to purely actually loaded, so maximum comprehensive capacity of this column is going to be utilized, and flexural stresses, flexural means the deflection of your column, it may not be caused due to purely actually loaded column. So the design demand of the reinforcement will be very much smaller, it will be not required if you have succeeded to maintain the purely actually loaded. Okay, so the demand of the reinforcement very much smaller, or minimum reinforcement is needed to provide as pointed in your column, because the flexural stress on your column is not occurring due to what? Due to no eccentricity. So pure axial load. So movement interaction curve, you have to understand the curve which is actually showing the graph or chart between your movement along your x-axis and axial load carrying capacity of your section about your y-axis pu. So when purely actually loaded column is there and there is no any eccentricity, when there is no any eccentricity, so in that case what is the situation? Try to understand. So in that case, this is the point, no movement is there, So your column is having the capacity to carry the maximum load, ultimate maximum load carrying capacity of your column is going to utilized, and this will demand less percentage of reinforcement, less concrete size, and everything will be what? Less expected the design requirement. But that is not possible. Tell me, will be there eccentricity or not in your design or in your consideration? Yes, obviously there will be what? Eccentricity. But interesting point is try to understand, it is the point actually. When I'm showing the point on y-axis, it means that there's zero eccentricity. E is what? Your zero. And now eccentricity suppose is there, suppose my section of the column is there, and this is the center point. Now so some eccentricity is there. Okay, the load is going to act on this point, so this is what the eccentricity is going to generate. So as if suppose the eccentricity is going to generate, the movement on your column is going to act, and once your column is going to be subjected to movement, the actual load carrying capacity of the column is what? Not going to be utilized to its maximum extent, and or in another way, the actual load carrying capacity of the column is going to be reduced. Either 2 point you can say that the actual load carrying capacity of the column is not going to be utilized to its peak extent, or another way you can say that the actual load carrying capacity of the column reduced. So here at the first time where eccentricity was zero, so actual load where what going to be carried by your column is maximum. Now when the movement eccentricity is going to be generating, so suppose this is the point of your eccentricity from your axis y, just for example, it is what? Eccentricity y or x, whatever, x or y of any direction. Now the actual load carrying capacity is what? Reduced or not? It is the one, p1. Yes or no? It is reduced. Okay, so what is the next point? That when the eccentricity is going to generated, or eccentricity is what occurring, so your actual load carrying capacity is what? Reduced, because the movement is going to be acting. When the movement is actually going to act over your column, this is the movement, some movement is going to act. Then another further, if the eccentricity is going to increase, so suppose this is the next point, further eccentricity is going to increase, that may be either x or y, that is not the point of discussion as of now, but the eccentricity is going to increase further, your actual load carrying capacity will be what? Reduced, but the dominating factor is going to become your movement. So curve which is going to connect all of these points, that is nothing but your movement interaction diagram. This is called as what? Movement interaction diagram, which is actually defining to a what eccentricity, or to a what movement, what will be the actual load carrying capacity, or to a what actual load capacity, what movement the your section of column with a provided percentage of reinforcement is capable to carrying the movement. That chart is actually defining. Understood? Or by using this chart you can design your column. If your eccentricity is what, if your actual load carrying capacity is what, then you will come to know what is the movement your column can carry. So this is nothing but the interaction curve. Clear? In simple, what does mean the interaction curve? So for a one column or for one approach, there is a multiple interaction curve is going to be formed. Why? Because here one important point is what? Percentage of reinforcement, how much the percentage of reinforcement you are going to use, and based on that, for one section with the change of the percentage of reinforcement, multiple interaction curves are actually going to form. Are you getting my point? So your ETABS software, how many number of interaction curves are actually going to be considered? How many? 24. And the number of interaction points around the one curve, so 11 points it is going to be considered, that the eccentricity point I have shown. Is that all clear? What does mean these 2 points? Just to explain these two points, I have explained the point of interaction curves. Got it? Yes, the meaning clearly. So the next point is what, and as of we don't need to do anything, but for your understanding, what does it mean? People are actually not discussing this, so you should understand this point. What does it mean? So number of interaction curve is that thing, and number of interaction point is that thing, but we don't need to do anything with this two value. That is not required. Let it to be as it is. The ETABS software by default it is considering. Okay, when you are going to read the manual of the ETABS, you will come to know more further details why it is considering 24, why this is considering 11, but we don't need to go in that deep. We just have to understand the meaning of this interaction curve or meaning of this interaction point. That's it. Now next, meanwhile the discussion of these interaction curves and interaction points, we have discussed about the centricity concept, so that we also have decided it should be yes. Now the next and the most important point is consider additional movement. This is also the pointer for the concern of your column, not for the beam. Consider additional movement. So I would like to give a little introduction at this point. I will discuss it at later when we are designing of column and discussing about the column. Okay, but it is actually simply what, when your column is going to be proved as long column, so there should be the consideration of additional movement. And who said this thing? These things were said by your IS code. IS 456 has said that when your column is proved to be long column, when effective length of your column divided by B, either B or D, this ratio is coming out to be less than of 12, the column is called as what? Short column. And when this ratio is coming out to be greater than 12, the column is going to be considered as what? Long column or slender column. And slender column, and when the column is long or cylinder, there may be chance of further flexural response. क्या होगा वहां पर? Further flexural response होगा. Further आपका, in simple language, those who are not understanding flexural response, क्या होगा? Long column होने की वजह से आपकी stability उतना maintain नहीं करेगा. This is the one column which is having the height of suppose 10 meter, and another column is what, which is height of, for an example, undo this, another column is having the height of only 4 meter. So it is the stiffer one. It is the stiff. When I'm going to apply the lateral load or any load other than the centroidal axis, so my column will undergo to the flexural response, and in simple, the deflection, curved deflection. Okay, so that curved deflection, what, for this short height column is less, but for the long height column it will be much more, and it is much more, so demands obviously more reinforcement. It is not the concern of what, a section, it is the concern of your reinforcement. तो आपका reinforcement demand बहुत ज्यादा आएगा जब आपका movement बढ़ेगा, आपका flexural response बढ़ रहा है. So it is possible for what, your long column. So IS code has said that you have to consider the additional movement for this long column. So when actually loaded column is there, short column, so it is a very simple approach for the design. Whatever the axial force is coming, whatever the movements are coming about one axis or about another axis, you have to design for that. But when your column is what, going to become long, when L by D or B ratio, when it is coming out to be greater than 12, then you have to design your long column. And for the long column, in addition to the basic movements, analysis movements, okay, you have to consider the additional movement. The calculation is actually given here. I have done the very detailed discussion in one of our YouTube video for the long column design, so that you can refer. Okay, so if you want, I will add after this session that video link after this. So long column design, those who are not aware and interested to learn the manual approach for the design of the long column, that is very interesting and important. Okay, if you would like to understand in deep about the software and everything, so I will attach that video next to this session. Please remind me. So what is the case? You have to consider the additional movement, right? So here the option the software is asking, would you like to consider the additional movement when the column is proved to be long, or if you are going to say as no, so even the software is finding your column as long, even in that situation also the software is not going to calculate and consider the additional movement. So tell me what it should be, either yes or no. Yes, very good. It should be basically what, yes. So I am going to change it to what, yes option. Now next point to understand, that is what, p delta analysis, method of analysis. So it is the part of advanced level. As of now it is not needed to discuss. Even also you can find the option by default as no, because for this kind of structures and for this kind of approach it is not required. I will explain in advanced level what does p delta analysis, p delta consideration for the structure when it is required. First thing. Second thing is what, it will be by default no, and we don't need to make it as yes. Okay, so we will discuss about the p delta analysis in advanced level. Now design for beam column capacity ratio. So actually the one concept is there is recommendation to design your structure with the beam column capacity ratio. Means heavy column or high strength column and weak beam design approach. Means at the junction of beam and column, the beam column capacity ratio we are going to be considered. That is what when the and this ratio beam column capacity ratio that should be less than of 1, and it is possible when your denominator value means the column capacity is greater than that of the beam capacity. But in reality experts are asking that don't do the design in this approach. Why we are going to make one element as weak, why we are going to make this another element as strong? Both the element we have to focus to make it as what? Strong. So normally we are not going to focus on the beam column capacity ratio. So here it is by default it is coming at to be yes, let it to be, but we are not going to concentrate on the beam column capacity ratio. Understood? Right? So whatever the design demand will come for the beam column, we will design accordingly. Okay, now what next to factor for the material? Okay, actually there are different methods of design. Can you repeat what are those methods? Very interesting it is. Okay, there are different methods of the design. Very good. Working stress method, limit state method, and ultimate load method. So basically there is what three methods for the designing of your structure or element as working stress method, ultimate load method, and the third one is your limit state method as in the sequence of their evaluation. Very first is your working stress method, second is your ultimate load method, and third one is your limit state method of design. These three methods you might have heard earlier. Okay, so I would like to give a little introduction amongst about all of this for our point of concern. So working stress method was the first method where invented or considered for the design of your structure. But the problem with this working stress method was that it is taking the very higher factor of safety were taken by this working stress method for your material. Now what does mean the factor of safety? Factor of safety means what? The material is having the capacity or tendency to carry the load. Suppose of 100 kilonewton, the concrete is suppose having the capacity to carry 100 kilonewton, whatever, suppose 100 unit, going to adopt the partial safety factor for the concrete as 3 or 2 to 3 normally taken. So it is higher factor of safety over the material it is taken. So that's why with this the demand actually capacity is what 100 actually, but while designing it is asking to consider only 30 kilonewton. 70 kilonewton you are going to take on a conservative side, you are not going to consider, you are going to ignore. So obviously 3 times your section size will be required. So in stress method the sections or the structure we are going to be designed as a very massive structure with a very large section sizes. So to a some extent serviceability is going to be in control. We can expect the very long life of the structure in concern of the serviceability. But in case of accidental load, in case of ultimate load condition, very high intensity of the load condition, we cannot maintain the sustainability of structure or element, sustainability of structure or element to its failure, to its damage, to its failure in the ultimate load condition. Your structure is what? Ensuring its serviceability, but what I can say, collapse condition is not going to be prevented under the unexpected load condition. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, with your working stress method, the persons were found this problem with this working stress method. So they have taken the second approach, that is your ultimate load method. Now in this ultimate load method, the way we are going to be focused on the problem we are going to be happening with your working stress method. In the ultimate load method, the structure or the element is going to be designed for the ultimate load condition. So here it is not going to focus on the material factor of safety. Here it is going to take the factor of safety over your loading. So whatever the load is coming, it is taking the factor of safety over that 1.5 or whatever the factor of safety were taken for the ultimate load condition. So in that case, the collapse condition is going to be prevented. Whatever the in future unexpected load may happen within the considered limit, so our structure we are going to make safe. but at this time the serviceability of the structure will be in danger. Here there's no factor of safety going to be taken over your materials. Factor of safety we are going to not be taken in your material. So whatever the section is going to be designed in ultimate load condition were found to be what? Cylinder section, because the heights, whatever the height by the geometry is coming, the section size what? Limited, because you are not going to take the factor of safety over the material. Whatever the capacity is there, only that capacity you are going to consider in your calculation. You are not going to reduce it. If you are not going to reduce it, then your section demand size will not increase. So your element is going to be designed as a cylinder element. Getting the second point? Yes or no? In the first case, section is very massive. In the second case, the section is going to be designed as what? Cylinder, less section size. This was the problem. So now the third method were going to be invented as a limit state method of design. And in this method, all the advantages of or the right things of ultimate load method and working stress method taken into account and making the final design approach. So here factor of safety were taken over the material and the factor of safety were taken over the loading. So, and that is what an adequate site. Okay, so that the material, for the material partial factor of safety for the concrete is taken as 1.5, and for the steel they are recommended to consider as 1.15. So whatever the concrete capacity is there, it is going to be what? Reduced by 50%, and here it is going to be increased by 50% for the steel. And over the loading, it is recommended to consider the factor of safety as 1.5. So this combinedly going to ensure the serviceability of your structure as well as the prevention of collapse under the ultimate load condition also. So this is nothing but your partial safety factor over your material and the factor of safety over your loading, and that were actually mentioned in your software. Gamma partial safety factor for your steel 1.15, partial safety factor for your concrete as 1.5. Is that all clear? Okay, so hope that you all understood what does mean the partial safety factor. For some structure we need to have there is a more concern of serviceability of your structure. For the water tank we have more conscious about the serviceability of your structure. When I'm talking about the dams, okay, so dams we are actually going to be designed with working stress method. Why? Because there is a concern of what? The load. For the load also we are taking the safety, but mainly we are going to take higher factor of safety for your materials. So we need to have the massive structure for the case of the dam. So where you are more conscious about the serviceability of your structure, at that time you have to prefer with the working stress method. Getting? Non-crack design. Even water tank is also, but yeah, but for the dams normally what? Yeah, for the dams normally we are using the working, yes, working stress method. Okay, so that is what the correct, because we want to have the massive structure, we need to have the massive weight of this structure is very much important at that time. So that's why. But yeah, for the water tank it is what revised and recommended to go with the LSM method of design. Okay, that is the another point of discussion. You can refer if you are having the knowledge, you have to research on this and then have to adopt method of design. It's your job. Now what next, what we are talking about? Yeah, so partial safety factor is now clear to all of you. Now coming, now here it is for pre-stress design. All these parameters we don't need to focus on these. ये सारे जो parameters है, post tensioning and pre tensioning, okay, pre stressed, so for all that structure, RCC structure, this parameter is what important, so we are not going to talk on that. Okay, that is not important. Our concern is what? With this pattern lie load factor. You all are with me? The next important thing to discuss is what? Pattern. Yes, our main concern is what? Pattern lie load factor. This is another very interesting and important topic to understand. Actually, whatever the live load you have considered over the slab, what the live load you have considered over the slab, in general live load you have considered over the slab as 2 kilonewton, 2 kilonewton per meter square. And I have given the clarification. Sometimes the beginners are considering that yeah, 2 kilonewton over the entire load, entire floor. No, entire floor, this floor slab. Okay, no, that is not the case. Have a look over this. What does mean this 2 kilonewton? 2 kilonewton means for every 1 meter square, how much the load is there? It is actually what? It is 2 kilonewton per meter square, right? So don't be confused. So at every of these, so it is what, tell me, the practically it is the right one, it is the correct one if you are going to consider a passage. Okay, so over the passage, suppose you have considered 2 or 3, whatever is there, let's say consider it is 2. So at every 1 square meter, every time 2 kilonewton live load will be there. Or let's talk about the bedroom, let's talk about the bathroom, let's talk about the living room. So at every time, at every 1 meter square, the load will be there 100% throughout the means for the 24 hours. Yes or no? That is not possible. So actually, while analysis and design, we should have make some consideration, and that consideration will what will be towards the reduction or the extension, addition. Tell me, that consideration will be towards the reduction or towards the addition. Tell me, क्या होना चाहिए ये? रिडक्शन होना चाहिए. दिस इज द रियलिटी. अगर एक रूम है हम लोगों का, उस रूम में 100% हर टाइम पर तो 2 किलोमीटर पर मीटर स्क्वायर लोडिंग नहीं होगा. Try to understand, a 3 person is standing in a 1 meter square area, so it is possible in a one room every time 3 person are standing at over a 1 meter area. Tell me, let's think about the bedroom, let's think about the living room. So ये really possible नहीं है, really exist नहीं हम लोगों का possibly करता है. So there should be some consideration of this reality. Okay, and that reality is actually recommending the reduction toward its side. It's a consideration. क्या होना चाहिए इसके लिए हम लोग कुछ रिडक्शन करना चाहिए. Okay, so actually that reduction where the code is recommending in the clause, as I can tell you at the page number 35, when you are going to see page number 35. Yeah, I think 35 it is. Yes, correct. Arrangement of your imposed load. How to consider your imposed load, that is important to understand. So the code is asking that. So first let's see what ETAB is doing. ETAB is what doing the reduction by 0.75. By default, the ETAB software is going to select on this. So what here it is written, the live load factor for automatic generation of the load combination involving pattern live loads and dead loads, pattern live loads and dead load as 0.75. So what here it is considering live load factor point, whatever the live load is you have applied over the slab, whatever the live load you have applied over the slab, 75% only of that the software is going to consider, 25% is going to reduce, going to eliminate, going not to consider कर रहा है. 75% ही. Important things, try to understand, this is the stage to go for the design. ये कौन सा stage हम लोग discuss कर रहे हैं? Please clarify this point. This is a stage to go for what? Analysis or design? Please try to understand important point. ये option हम लोगों को दिया हुआ है design के time पर. So जब आपने suppose you have considered the design analysis, so from slab to beam the load is coming. तो beam पर जो load आया है आपको initially analysis करने के बाद 100% दिखेगा. आपको 100% load means whatever the dead load is there plus 100% live load consideration where transfer to this beam. जो भी part यहाँ पे transfer होगा, जितना भी transfer होगा वो 100% live load consider करके दिया हुआ है after the analysis. But when you are going to do the design, जब design के लिए जाएगा जो भी live load है उसको कितना परसेंट लेगा? Yes, how much it will consider? 0.75%, sorry 75% only. Okay, so normally people are not knowing this thing and they are trying to do the manual and trying to validate with the software but not taking this point into consideration. They are what doing 100% consideration after the analysis. They are going to do design with the 100% and ETAB's result is giving something different and they are confused. This is actually the problem. Live load is actually while the designing and after the analysis it is 100% is going to be considered. Full it is showing, but when you go for the design के टाइम पे live load को कम करके लेगा वो. Okay, so this is the part of the design consideration. Okay, so यहाँ पर important क्या है? Whether this 0.75 right or wrong, what is there? Let's try to understand. So the consideration of the imposed load, how to make this consideration, try to understand. Consideration may be limited to a combination of these two. Design dead load on all spans. There is no question for dead load. Dead load के लिए कोई problem नहीं है. Every time you have to consider 100% dead load. There is a question for what? Tell me. There is a question for what? Live load. Problem है हमें live load से, not for the dead load. Okay. So what is asking? Design dead load on all spans with full design. Now the important is what? Full design impose load on two adjacent span. So first option is asking to do the consideration in this way. क्या करना है आपको? Two adjacent load at adjacent span at all the slabs you have to consider 100% dead load, and two adjacent span you have to consider 2 kilonewton as live load, 2 kilonewton per meter square live load, then again 2 kilonewton per meter square live load, 2 kilonewton per meter square live load, then again this 2 you have to left, then 2 have to consider, then 2. In this way, whatever the pattern you can adopt, this is the pattern live load consideration. Second is what it is giving. Second, design dead load on all spans, no question for the dead load, with full design imposed load on all alternate spans. Have a look over this second alternate span. Here I have to consider live load, then skip this, then 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 live load, like that. Alternate is a adjacent one. This is the pattern. So how to do this calculation? It is a different thing. Okay. Now look at the third recommendation. Then when design imposed load, live load means your live load does not exceed 3/4 of the design dead load of your design dead load, days load, and design imposed load. Try to understand. When design imposed load does not exceed 3/4 of the design dead load, the load arrangement may be design dead load and design imposed load on all spans. केस में क्या रहेगा? When your design imposed dead load does not exceed 3/4 of the design dead load, the load arrangement may be design dead load and design imposed load on all. Means 100% dead load you have to consider plus 100% live load you have to consider in a situation when, let's try to understand by the example, then only you will understand. Total dead load on proposed structure. कितना dead load है हम लोगों का? Self weight of the slab plus floor finish is what? 130 mm means 0.13. How much the self weight of the slab we have considered? Depth of the slab we have considered how much? Close it. Let's say okay. Go to define, go to section, go to slab section. Tell me what depth of the slab we have considered? 125. So I am going to put here as what? 125. Density of your concrete 25 plus floor finish. How much the floor finish you have assigned over the slab? Go to slab, cancel it, go to plan, come to any, let's say first floor, undeformed shape normally, load, go to display, go to load assign, go to shell load, under the dead load apply this floor finish. How much? Normally 1.55 we have assigned, normally 1.55 general. Okay, don't focus on this 4. General floor finish as 1.55, so that we are going to put here as what? 1.55. Now tell me what is the total value? 0.125 multiplied by 25 plus 1.55. Give me the answer for this. 4675. Check it once. No, it is wrong. It is wrong. I think some changes will be there. Let me do this calculation. Okay, let me do in front of you. Where is your calci? Go to your ETABS. Okay, 0.125 multiplied by 25 plus 1.55 equal 4.675 kilonewton per meter square. Now this 3/4 of this dead load is what? 3.565. no, I think it will be wrong. Check it. This is also going to be changed. 675, right? Now after this, what is the calculated value? Check it. Multiplied by 3 divided by 4. 3.506. Okay, now this your considered live load on all slab is what? 2 kilonewton. General live load is what? 2 kilonewton meter square. Okay, which is less than of your this 3/4 of total dead load. So your code is what is saying, see, when your design imposed load does not exceed, when your design live load, or I'm going to say when your assigned live load does not exceed 3/4 of the design of your assigned or your considered dead load. Okay, this is the condition of our case or not? Yes or no? अगर ऐसा condition है, when this situation is going to be proved, then the load arrangement may be design dead load means 100% dead load plus design imposed load on all spans means no reduction is recommended. Right or wrong? Have you got this statement? Now tell me In this our ETAS, when you go to design concrete view revise preferences, this option should be what? ये value क्या होना चाहिए यहाँ पर for your proposed structure and situation? No, wrong. Most of you are saying that. See, pattern live load factor. Actually, there should be zero reduction. 100% consideration is there. Actually, what? आप उसको means it is here we have to put the how much reduction to do. कितना reduction करना है? It is not how much to consider. It is what? How much to do reduction. Tell me, कितना reduction करना है? 0% means 100%. You are correct. You are thinking from the other side. Yeah, reduction. Sorry, I was I think wrong. 0.75 was the reduction. There was consideration of what? 25% only, right? So here the value should be chosen as what? 0. Because we don't want to do, we have to make it as what? 100% consideration, 0% reduction. So this value will be what? 0. Now utilization factor limit, this is what the important thing, try to understand. Again the same thing, suppose the column section is there, okay, and the capacity of this column section with all of concrete property, steel property and everything, it is having the capacity to carry the 100 kilonewton load for an example. So I am going to utilize the capacity of this column section to its maximum extent. So the utilization factor limit will be what? 1. Means the software is going to show this column or this element is going to fail when it is going to be subjected to 100 kilonewton, because you are going to utilize to its maximum capacity of 100%. इसके 100% की capacity तक क्या आप utilize करो? The capacity of the column is what? 100 kilonewton. You are going to apply the 100 kilonewton. Then when 101 load is going to be happen, is going to act, then your software is going to show it is failing. Just for example, you are understanding in simple way, your capacity is what? 100. When you are going to apply the 50 kilonewton, the utilization is what? You are going to utilize only 50% capacity of this column. When you are going to consider 75 kilonewton, you are going to utilize 75% capacity. When you are going to provide the 100 kilonewton, you are going to utilize the column capacity to its 100%. Okay, so the software is going to show this column as failing when you are going to apply the intensity of the load 101 kilonewton. Okay, so it is the utilization factor. So whatever the capacity of the column is there, to its 100% capacity you are going to utilize it. But for the safety, if I am choosing it as, okay, when I am going to choose as 1.5, will it be right or wrong? If I am choosing 1.5, wrong. If I am choosing 1.5, try to understand what will happen. Those who are not understanding and unable to answer, my column is having the capacity of 100 kilonewton, and if suppose the load on the column is coming to a means 1.5, suppose you are taking, so 150 kilonewton suppose is coming. Even with this situation also, your software is not showing this column is failing. Software नहीं show करेगा कि ये column fail हो रहा है, because you have taken the safety to a 1.5. So is it right or wrong? Capacity आपकी 100 है और उस पे 150 किलोटन तक के लोड भी आ रहा है, तब भी फेल नहीं बता रहा आपका सॉफ्टवेयर. So is it right or wrong? It is wrong. And if unsafe side and wrong it is, okay, right. And if the situation when I am going to put it as a 0.9, when I'm suppose I'm going to put it as what? Let's say 0.75 I'm going to put here. I'm going to put here as what? 0.75. So my column is having the capacity of 100 kilonewton and the load is coming as, suppose I'm going to define as 75 and load is coming as 80. So my software will showing it as what? Failed or passed? Tell me. It is showing failed. So it is safe side or unsafe side? अगर आपको safety लेना है तो it is the safe side. Okay. So it is what? ठीक है. It depends on me. Okay. What factor of safety I would like to take? सो 100 किलोन्यूटन कैपेसिटी है तो मैं उसको लिमिट कर रहा हूं कि लोड अगर मेरा 80 तक के आ गया, लेट्स से 95 तक के आ गया, सो मुझे फेल का इंटीमेशन, आई एम गोइंग टू टेक द सेफ्टी of 5%. I would like to take the safety of 5 kilonewton. So this is the case. Now tell me, this value should be, if you are taking as more than of 1, that is not possible, not acceptable at all. You can reduce it, but if you are reducing to a greater extent, let's say 0.75, तो आपने 25% का factor of safety ले लिया है. Already we have taken the factor of safety over the material. We already have taken the factor of safety over the loading, and further means some extra columns we are sometime taking, some higher section sizes of we are taking, some higher loads already we have taken. So tell me, it is needed to take further factor of safety here. Tell me. Or would you like to go with 1? Tell me. Your choice. 0.9, 0.9. Okay. Some of the consultant, what they are doing, they are taking it as 0.95. Some of the consultant taking 0.9, some of the consultant 0.95. It's all depends on you. आप जितना कम करेंगे उतना थोड़ा सा हेवी डिजाइन होगा, थोड़ा हेवी डिमांड आएगा, क्योंकि आपने सेफ्टी ले लिया है. So what, as of now I'm not going to take any safety as of now, because already we have taken a lot of safety over material grade and everything. So as of now I'm going to take 1, not reducing. Is that all clear? अगर आपको चाहिए तो आप करके ले सकते हो. Okay, no issue. थोड़ा सा हेवी डिजाइन आएगा, थोड़ा सा लाइट मींस extra reinforcement, extra section, that demand will be there. You can take in practice, and you can study on this what changes will be. So this is what all about this part. Okay, we have covered the discussion of all these important things. Okay, now by tomorrow again we will discuss the another part. Let's say okay, this all this definition. Thereafter you need to go design concrete again, design combination, what to do, and further settings are also there. View revise overrides, the very important section that we'll discuss by tomorrow. As of now it is not in active mode. How to keep it into active mode, what to do with this, everything we'll discuss by tomorrow in detail.